sagging, bouncing, or uneven floors, standing water or high humidity, nasty odors, or dangerous mold. Crawl space problems don't get better with time, but they do get better when you call APS.
This is the morning edition of the Daily Weather Briefing video. This is for Wednesday, the 9th of November. I'm James Spann. Alabama's weather noticeably cooler today. Going to be a beautiful day, sunny with low 70s. But Nicole will be moving into the Florida Peninsula as a hurricane by tonight, and that will likely impact Alabama, especially the eastern half of the state, now with a lot of rain tomorrow night into early Friday morning. And it looks like the state will be impacted in a more significant level than earlier thought this week, so we'll talk about that. And then, of course, it's going to turn cold this weekend as Nicole moves on to the northeast. So a lot of things going on here. This is the upper air look, and while the ridge is still in place aloft, a wedge of cooler air is coming in from the northeast today. So again, the weather should be noticeably cooler with highs dropping into the low and mid 70s, so about 10 degrees cooler than yesterday, which is a good thing. Go to the watch warning map, and you can see we have hurricane warnings in effect now for the Atlantic coast of Florida, tropical storm warnings in effect for much of the rest of the state, the peninsula, not the panhandle. And those tropical storm warnings extend up through parts of the Georgia and the South Carolina coast. And while they're dealing with that, we've got blizzard warnings now for parts of the Dakotas. How about that? A lot of snow issues out in the western states with a big storm system there. So very interesting active period coming up here. So this is the severe weather outlook for today and tonight. We have a risk of severe storms over parts of the Florida Peninsula in association with Nicole. And this is tomorrow. Again, a risk of severe storms on the South Atlantic coast. That's from Nicole. And in advance of that big storm system coming out of the northern states, a chance of severe storms from near Kansas City up to about Madison, Wisconsin. And again, it's pretty interesting. While they have a chance of severe storms there just north and west of that zone, blizzard conditions will likely evolve. And then on day 3, which is Friday, again, we have a risk of severe storms on the Atlantic coast as Nicole races to the northeast. No chance of any severe weather in Alabama for the rest of this week. So this is the rain for the next 7 days. The numbers are coming up as the models have shifted a bit. And it now looks like the eastern counties of the state, especially along and east of US 431, could wind up with 1 to 2 inches of rain from Nicole tomorrow night and Friday morning. Of course, the really big numbers across Georgia and the Carolinas, but we could clearly see some meaningful rain as far west as Birmingham and Huntsville and Montgomery. The far western side of the state will likely be fairly dry for the next 7 days. So here's the big tropical view. We've got that other little feature that's in the middle of the Atlantic, a high latitude system that will not be developing. So basically the only system on the board is Nicole. The system is still trying to get its act together. The convection is not especially deep early this morning, but the winds based on Hurricane Hunter aircraft data are at 70 miles an hour, just under hurricane strength. And Nicole will likely become a hurricane later today as it approaches the Florida Peninsula. The system is now approaching the northern Bahamas. This is the latest forecast track coming from the National Hurricane Center. And again, they now bring it into the coast of Florida is either an upper end tropical storm or a Category 1 hurricane. Well, one way or the other, the impact is going to be the same. A lot of wind and rain for the Florida Peninsula. The center comes up through Georgia and then moves up through the Carolinas and to a point near Washington, D.C. by late Friday night. The storm surge for the Atlantic coast of Florida expected to be in the 3 to 5 foot range, and there could be a surge of 2 to 4 feet over around Appalachia Bay on the Gulf side. So let's go through modeling on this, model fans. This is the GFS. This is the 06C run, valid today at 4. Big trough in the western states. And, of course, we still have the ridge here. But, again, that wedge coming in from the east, that's going to bring cooler air today. So instead of those 80s like we've seen in recent days, highs today, low to mid-70s. A really nice day. And, again, let me get my mug off the screen here, and you can see that we've got Nicole today coming through the Bahamas. So this is tomorrow afternoon. Again, the system is inland. Landfall on the Florida coast will likely come late tonight, maybe a little after midnight. And again, either is an upper end tropical storm, or a minimal hurricane. Impact will be the same. For Alabama during the day tomorrow, the weather dry, highs in the mid-80s. Clouds will be increasing during the day. So this is tomorrow evening at 6 o'clock. And now you can see, this is high-res modeling. This is coming off the 3-kilometer dam, and you can see rain moving into the southeastern part of the state. In fact, we could see rain tomorrow evening at 6 o'clock as far north as maybe Roanoke and Prattville and Andalusia. And that rain could be pretty extensive. And again, the models are much more aggressive. Initially, it looked like the really big rains with Nicole would stay east of the state, but that looks pretty wet. Let's go to midnight tomorrow night. And you can see the rain should be fairly widespread over the eastern half of the state. And if this verifies, the rain shield would affect Huntsville and Birmingham, clearly Montgomery. And then by Friday morning at 6 o'clock, the rain is confined to the northeastern counties of the state as Nicole begins to lift out. So again, looks pretty wet now with Nicole for the eastern half of the state. And we should mention it's going to be fairly windy. This is the highest wind gust in association with Nicole through midday Friday. And understand this, as you look at this chart here and you see the numbers, this is the peak wind gust at 10 meters off the ground, about 32 feet. So this is not right at the surface, but we could clearly see some winds gusting to 40, 45 miles an hour over the southeastern part of the state, maybe even a wind gust of 50 around Dothan. So very windy tomorrow evening and tomorrow night. The winds will be gusty over the entire eastern half of the state, so just keep that in mind as well. So this is Friday afternoon at 4 o'clock, and the rain shield should be pretty much out of here at that point. So the main chance of rain for the state will be late tomorrow afternoon through Friday morning. And again, the higher amounts over the eastern half of the state. Clouds will likely linger on Friday with temperatures in the 60s. And then Saturday, as Nicole races out of here, cold air drops in, relatively speaking, compared to where we've been. We've seen some upper 80s in parts of the state. Saturday, the high will likely be between 48 and 52 with a chilly north wind. And the sky will be partly sunny, just a different kind of day. And then by Sunday morning, we go below freezing to start the day. Lows 25 to 32. The high Sunday will be in the 50s. Just look at temperature anomalies on Sunday, and you can see that much of the country way below average. Let's go to Monday. We're still very cool. Highs in the 50s. Monday morning, we'll start the day most likely in the upper 20s. And then you can see that next wave off to the west, and the GFS brings that in here Tuesday. This is Tuesday of next week. And evidence we could see a wet day with periods of rain likely. And again, the cool rain with highs in the 50s. And interesting to note, the GFS wants to put down snow with this thing over parts of Kentucky and West Virginia, and maybe some icing for the mountains of North Carolina. How about that? And this is a week from today. This is Wednesday, the 16th. A southwest flow aloft, but that feature is on by, and we are cool and dry. Let's go out 10 days. This is Friday of next week, the 18th. We still got a southwest flow aloft, and at that point, we're still cool and dry. This is the rain for Birmingham off the European ensemble. The mean between 1 and 2 inches for the next 15 days. Temperatures, the 80s are gone. Highs in the low 70s today, mid 70s tomorrow, and maybe Friday. Then here comes that really cold air for the weekend. Highs dropping in the low 50s, lows below freezing. And again, this is for Birmingham. Many spots will be colder over the northern half of the state. And next week, temperatures well below average with highs mostly in the 50s and lows mostly in the 30s. And the latest 8 to 14-day guidance, this is for November 16th through the 22nd. Get a pretty cold look for much of the country, including the Deep South. Great sunset last night. This was taken up at Section, overlooking the mighty Tennessee River. Sunset at Weiss Lake last night. And the Gulf Coast just looking great. It's a marvelous time to go to the Gulf Coast. Not that many people are there. Sun going down over the water. And that big full moon, or near full moon, last night. That was seen over Gadsden. So that's it for the morning edition of the Daily Weather Briefing video. We'll have the next one this afternoon. Today I will be in Tuscaloosa, North River Christian Academy. And then tonight I'll be speaking to the AMS chapter of Northern Illinois University. Tomorrow I'll be at Moundville Elementary School in the morning. Tomorrow evening speaking to the York Atmospheric Club, a group up in Canada, of course virtually. Veterans Day is Friday, and then Saturday a book signing in downtown Hartselle up in Morgan County. That'll be a lot of fun. We're there between 9 and 11:30. But we'll have notes over on the blog, AlabamaWX.com. And of course, if you can, join us this evening on ABC 3340 News at 4, 5, 6, and 10 o'clock. Thanks for watching. Have a great day, and God bless.
Cracks in brick, cracks in block? Call Alabama Professional Services. Leaning or bowing basement walls? Call APS. Sticking windows or doors? Call APS. Settling or sinking foundation? That's right. Call APS. It's a fact. Foundation problems don't get better with time, but they do get better when you call APS. Call Alabama Professional Services today.